Three ways to unfetter the black community, right? Unfetter means to liberate, okay? Now, first of all, I want to talk about two distinctive things that we need to be clear about before I proceed. That's the black community and the black neighborhood. So you'd agree with me, right? In most conversations, we're talking about the black association of, black folks and stuff, especially in the African diaspora and all that stuff. We use, the phrase, black community, black community, black community. But there's a difference between those two, right? What we really have is a black neighborhood at best. So black neighborhood in the sense that you might find a concentration in a particular area, a particular jurisdiction. Say, for example, in the UK, you go to parts of London or you go to places like Leeds or Manchester, you find, black neighborhoods, basically where you find a gathering of black folks, okay? Doesn't necessarily mean that's a community where you can find certain, factors that would make you say, oh, this is a fully functioning community. So all you can say is that's a black neighborhood, right? So neighborhood in the sense that it has a concentration of black folks living in that particular area, and that's it. This is why, for those of you that have been watching Phrankleen for a minute, I've said this in the past in some of my previous episodes, that the idea of a black community is in fact an illusion, because we don't have one. So I'm going to talk about three, major ways to unfetter the black community. What would really upgrade us to the point where we can actually say, oh, this is a fully functioning, black community. So I'd love you to join the conversation. Leave your comments below. Tell me what you think. Number one, right? If you see me looking this way, I've got my laptop here. I've got a few notes on here. So I've put down, we've got to have an economic structure within the black community, or an independent economic structure, right? So what does that mean? In order for us to be able to call ourselves a fully functioning black community, okay? So an independent economic structure will provide jobs, will provide services and products for the members of the black community. And that process will keep on going, right? Will keep on going. It's got to be able to provide jobs, services, the services that we need, and the products that we need within the confines of the black community that we can all extensively, benefit from. So now, how we create the jobs and or services and or the products, of course, it's an extensive conversation that can be had separately, but you get the idea, right? Now, number two, there's got to be like a modus operandi, which is like a mode of operation within a so-called black community. So mode of operation, what's the premise of a mode of operation? It helps define interactions, behavior within a group of people, okay? It helps establish rules, letting us know that we've got to respect ourselves, how to deal with ourselves, how things have got to be done. If you step out of line, what the consequences are, how to treat your brother, how to treat your sister, things about mutual respect, things about bonding, which also goes into how we raise our children within the set community, how we relate, how we interact, how we help ourselves to grow and grow together as a unit of people. Does that make sense? So now, the third one is political installations. And some of you, before I talk about that, some of you that watch my content, you'd have heard me talk, in several videos, we talk about the problems. And I get it. Some people get frustrated and say, oh, Phrankleen, I agree with what you're saying and stuff, but what's the way forward and stuff? These were the driving, sort of driving points that propelled me to make this topic, okay? Now, political installations, because what you'd agree with me is we have no political footings, we have no legs, we have no grounds, we have nothing in the political arena. And this is a major part of a black community if there was going to be one. All right. Now, political installations, if we don't have powerful black folks in top jobs that will help drive policies, favorable policies, policies that will affect our lives, our communities positively, that will help change policies, right? It will be impossible to have a fully functioning Black community without this, right? We need this to challenge unfavorable laws, biases within the justice system, within the prison system, unfair, police treatments, racial profiling, racial biases, and things like that. See, political installations is the way forward. Even for those that want to, go back to the motherland, if you don't want to live in the West, if we don't have representatives, reliable being the objective word, reliable representatives within the Black community, right? Who have political installations, people that can put the doors off the hinges, people that can challenge the unfair, age-old bias systems that were designed without us in mind, that were designed to work against us, people that can help challenge racial biases, centuries of policies that put Black men behind bars, that would look at you and your white counterpart, commit the same crime and treat the Black individual unfairly, right? If we don't have reliable political installations, right, what I've come to, the sort of conclusion I've come to is we're going to spend donkey years having the same conversation, remaining at the bottom end of the spectrum, okay? We keep taking another thing I want to talk about is we keep taking our qualifications to other communities and getting rejected and maltreated. What does that mean? A bunch of Black folks are educated, right? Degree, master's degree, a truckload of professional qualifications. Now, don't confuse this with individually the odd Black person here and there. Oh, I'm a medical doctor, I'm a lawyer, oh, I'm this, oh, I'm a civil engineer, I work for that, FTSE, whatever 100, company, blah, blah, blah. That's not what I'm talking about, right? I'm looking at us as when I say community, which is non-existent, but as a group of people, okay? We're not doing well. We've not even started, right? That's why we are at the bottom end of the spectrum. The Black struggle is monetized 24/7, okay? The Black struggle is monetized 24/7. Now, having said all of this, Black group economics is the way forward. Black group economics is the way forward. What do I mean by that? Spending your money to support small, medium, and big Black businesses. We have been conditioned by the society whereby the big corporations that are clearly not owned by the Black communities or Black individuals, right? They have been strategically positioned for donkey years that, buy your trainers, buy your clothing. It's almost like you can't navigate in such a way that you have to go to them and give them your money. Now, the danger is, whilst you might get the product that you want, whilst I might get the t-shirt, the glasses that I want, whilst I might get the shoes that I want, the Nike trainers, the Armanis, the Gucci's, the Pradas, but the reality on paper is, right, when I go graft, when I work, when you get your dollars, when you get your pounds sterling, your euros, your money instantaneously leaves the Black community, never to return. So basically, we are the only group of people that don't practice group economics. I understand some people in previous videos have said stuff about, would love to support some of our small, Black businesses. Oh, customer service is the problem, blah, 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 blah. But let me stop you in your tracks. I'm not refuting your claims or your concerns and stuff. But you know what? If we truly want to make the headway that we desire to make as a group of people, you and I have got to start making decisions today. Support Black businesses. Keep your money. There is power in your money, your pounds sterling, your dollars, your euros. There is power, but we just don't recognize it as a group. Some of us do. There is power. Who you give your money to, your money, the moment whilst you're holding that money, you carry a lot of power. Take that money and spend that money within your communities. Support that woman who is selling body cream, organic body cream, not bleaching creams, organic body creams. Support that gentleman who is running a small plastering business, a small painting business. Support that black-owned business that's into interior decoration. Support them. Support. We can deal with our whatever issues and pettiness, you know, on the side. Support black businesses. Group economics. We are the only group of people that do not practice group economics. Trust me, we are the only group of people. So we can talk about all this unfair treatment, all this suppression, all this blah, blah, blah for generations after generations. If we don't go back to our drawing board and have a strategy and plan and have a template of operation, right? We'll remain at the bottom end of the spectrum. The black struggle is being monetized on a daily basis. Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, and all these things around the world. You find all these corporate giants. They jump on it whilst the Black Lives Matter movement, George Floyd is hot for a minute, hot for 2 weeks, hot for 3 weeks. Everybody changes their logo, blah, blah, blah. They cash in on it, right? All they got to do is have a black background with a feast. Black Lives Matter, they put the text on their shop windows. They cash in, they cash out, they keep it moving. The truth of the matter is, we shout about the next occurrence. We shout about Breonna Taylor. We go back to square one. Something else happens next week. We shout, we go back to square one, right? Independent economic structure, mode of operation, political installations, right? And somebody might say, okay, Phrankleen, all well and good, man. How do we actually execute this? This actually starts from the state of mind. The mindset is a very crucial weapon in all of this. If your mindset isn't right, what do I mean, right? If as a black man or as a black woman, you're not even mentally wired to have love and compassion, right? To be patriotic, to be your brother's keeper, to be your sister's keeper. You're not even wired like that. You see your own brother, you want to oppress them. You're the first to put your fingers up that your brother hasn't got their immigration papers. You're the first to snitch on your brothers. You're the first to snitch on your sisters. You're the first. My brother, my sister, man, the black struggle will carry. If I do my bit within my jurisdiction, within my closely knit circle, right? The issue of trust, we've got to start from somewhere, okay? Group economics. What's wrong with 1, 2, 3 brothers, okay? We might be able to get a shop or start a business that needs £20,000 or £21,000 to start. That's £7,000 a piece. £15,000 to start this business. I might not be able to have put together £15,000 if there is mutual trust, mutual respect. Get legal binding documents. Work together. Amalgamate your minds, your brains. Build together. This is how the Asians, this is how the Jewish people, this is how these people, my point is, these other communities, they are not superhumans. They have been playing group economics for centuries, for donkey years. And when you go to places like Peckham, for example, in London, right? There are countless Asian businesses. Sometimes I have conversations with black folks within, black community, and they talk about, oh, the Asians are dominating. Why wouldn't they dominate? If I have a business here, my brother has a business next door, my sister has a business across the road adjacent to mine, and the next street and the next street, right? If another community is trying to come in to get shops, it's a natural human behavior for us to protect our daily bread, to protect our bread, our source of income, to make sure that we dominate the market. It's strictly business. There are no, it's not about being nice. Business is not about being nice. They guide jealously what belongs to them, because when they can dominate that market, they keep the bread for themselves. They can pass it on, the wealth, to the next generation. Do you know that if you go into the all of the virtually all the Asian-owned businesses, the meat sellers, the grocery sellers, black people, we are at the top end of consumption. We are their number one consumers. All the women's hair, the wigs, the bleaching creams, and all the stuff that you buy, the meat, the fish that black people are we are the #1 consumers. But when it comes to the existence of our community, when it comes to group economics, we're nowhere to be found. This is why the black community, and I understand, let me chip this in, the black community will forever remain non-existent. We will carry on talking about the same problems, keep suffering and do nothing. And people are going to say, oh yeah, you know, the colonial effect, this and this. Look, I am thoroughly aware of the age-old colonial, you know, damage to Africa and our forefathers and all that. I get that. But it's time that you and I come to the drawing board. Financial freedom is the way forward, my brothers and sisters. Financial freedom is the only way forward. That's the only way that we can challenge the evil and vicious justice system. We can challenge the oppressive police departments. We can challenge racial biases. That's the only way we can build wealth and pass on to the next generation, and the next generation can pass on to the ones, you know, next to them. In order for us to have a thriving black community, we need to start looking into how many black people, you're watching me now, do you have child trust funds for your children? As a man, as a woman, do you have life insurance? Most black people don't have it. That's fact. Some do. Some, if you look at very small amount of people, most of them, some people due to, unfortunately, due to religiosity, they are blind. Their minds are warped. Even if your children who are savvy, who are educated, they have conversations with you and say, Mom, have a life insurance in place. It means if I pass away today, right, it will ensure that my children are not left in abject poverty. It means my children and my wife are not suddenly sucked into this financial burden of having to bury me, pay for burial. If they cash out on a life insurance, if I have one in place, and it would help them, it's sort of like a soft landing, it will cushion them, particularly the children's future. If you have it as a woman too, it's not for you, or a man or woman, this is not gender specific, to try to, maliciously cash out on your partner. That's not what we're talking about. To protect, particularly, the future of your children. Child trust funds. All the monies that we spend frivolously, that we throw down on designers and all the Gucci's and Pradas. Do you have a child trust fund for your children? Do you have a life insurance? Most don't. And then death might just come knocking. And this is why the cycle of poverty keeps on going, keeps on going, keeps on going. Anyway, that's me, though. You get the gist, right? What do you think? Let's keep the conversation going on below. 3 or more ways to unfetter the black community. It's your boy, Phrankleen. Listen, lastly, I trying to get the Phrankleen podcast going, all right? For those of you that have donated and the GoFundMe, I'm trying to buy a couple of equipment. I appreciate you. So a couple of people have done, Cash App donations, trying to buy my equipment so I can start the podcast. I appreciate you. You're not obligated to do anything, but if you'd like to support, there is a link in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you want to support via Cash App, via PayPal, all the links are in the description below. It's your boy, Phrankleen. Join the conversation. What do you think? Thank you for watching, and I will definitely catch you in the next one. Peace and love. Bye now. Black lives.